talking about today. The best mod I've done yet to my FRS. And yes, I do have my notes stuck to my steering wheel right now. More so, trust me, it's not something I want to do, it's for your sake. On my way to my garage to drop off the empty oil, so I figured might as well crank out this video, which I've wanted to do for a while. So, what is it, right? It is the OFT Tablet. I was going to bring it with me just to show you guys how small it is, you know, and just in general, just so you can see it, but you can look it up online and I'll throw a picture of it up right there. So, my initial impressions of the OFT and my reasons for buying it. My initial impressions were, I was pretty surprised by a lot of the reviews. It wasn't a gimmick, right? Like when you look on the forums and such, people do give you realistic expectations of what you're going to get out of it. I would say it's very accurate to what you'll see on the forums. And when you look in general about what should I do for a first mod, it's very often, I think, the very first mod you should do, because it makes sense, right? But that was my initial impressions, where this probably makes sense to do it first, you know, but of course there's gonna be things that you're worried about, right? So I came up with 3 major things that I was initially worried about with purchasing it, you know, my deciding factors on whether or not to do it, because it is a $500 investment. So $500 you could put elsewhere in your car pretty easily, right? So there's other parts I could do. So my first major point was, I was really worried that it could potentially mess up the car. You know, who knows when you're messing with the ECU, is it gonna bug out and twitch out one day and just start flaring the revs up out of nowhere, you know, for no reason? Who knows, right? Because you're changing the very brain of the car. It's like doing spine surgery, right? But luckily with cars and stuff like that, it's not life or death situation. My second thing I was worried about was gas mileage. Gas is expensive generally. I mean, luckily these are 4-cylinders, so we are saving gas more so than most enthusiast cars, right? Like the guys hauling ass in Mustangs around town. I can only imagine what their gas bill is at the end of the day, but you still don't, like, I use this car for daily activities as well, right? So it's not a race car 100% of the time. In fact, it's not even a race car yet. You know, you want to still have drivability, right? So you don't want to deplete your gas tank in 5 minutes. So that's one thing I was also worried about. Now, also the cost benefit. Like I said, it's $500. It's a big chunk. You could go elsewhere. In some cases, you could get your first set of wheels for $500. Looking on, you know, trading like Facebook marketplaces and stuff like that. So, is it really worth the investment? Because like I said, $500 could go elsewhere in your car. So those were my worries initially. My main concerns. So the expectation versus reality. What actually happened versus my fears. And so far, the car has been extremely consistent, like across the board. They change your throttle response a little bit. I love it. It's so much easier for driving, you know, first, second gear through town. When you're taking it easy, it's easy to take it easy. Whereas before, I had a hard time in lower gears, you know, in low mile per hour situations. Whereas now it's smoothed out completely. The torque curve is very good. Idle at stoplights and stuff like that is just like pinned flat at, you know, it's like 700 RPM or something like that. It depends on how many accessories you're running, right? But it's very, very consistent, and the warm-up is very consistent as well. I haven't had any issues so far, and I've been driving it for 2,000 miles now. Yeah, about 1,000 miles. So that's main concern number 1. No freakish stuff has happened to my ECU. Plus, you have the option to go back to your factory ECU setup, which for me, honestly, unless I'm bringing it back to the dealership, that's not happening. It's so much better overall for the torque dip. The torque dip still survives, it's still there, but it's better. So gas mileage. Gas mileage has changed, I would say, a little bit. Like, I would say most people say no, it didn't. It's negligible, it's very small, but I've only noticed it when I'm really on it. Like, because when you're on it, you've gained a horsepower in different areas. So when you're on it, obviously there's going to be more fuel involved. City driving, day-to-day stuff, no impact when I'm just going to work. But when I want to be a hooligan, yeah, there's an impact for sure. Then again, it goes down to miles per gallon, right? I think that's very important. That's the number one reason why I got this car. Like, I want to enjoy what I drive. So for me, it's completely worth it so far. Plus, like, all the mods you want to do, essentially for performance, are gonna, yeah, your car's gonna be more efficient, but you're probably gonna be worsening your gas mileage as you go up in mods and etc. So lastly, the cost-benefit analysis of doing it. And is it worth it still now? You know, I'm only 1,000 miles down the road, but is it really worth it so far? Am I missing that 500 bucks? Do I wish I would have put it somewhere else? Honestly, no, because like I said, it changed the whole driving dynamic of the car. This car drives way different, and like if you put this car up against a stock FRS, it would beat it. And like, that's not the reason I'd say that it's worth the money or not. I would say more so the drivability. Just the fact that it feels way better. Overall, it just feels more natural. The throttle response and everything. You know, that beats it in the stock form overall. Plus, this mod is going to allow you to move on to mods down the road. Right? So the next logical step for my car would be headers. So, or potentially turbo if I go straight into turbo, but I doubt it. So headers would probably be the logical next step, right? With this tablet now, I've not only helped increase performance right now, but also when I get headers, I'll be smack dab ready to go with the tune for the headers. That's something with the mods that you get later on, you're gonna have to think about a tuner. So, you know, I would definitely take that into consideration when, you know, getting this eventually. If you have a FRS or an 86 and you don't have it yet and you're just running exhaust and things like that, I'd say it's still totally worth the money, even without headers. It's really fun and drivable. Like for me, first, second gear, that would have been horrible. I wouldn't even be able to be on film with you guys right now driving in a car. There's another reason too to get the OFT. You can actually drive. You won't be embarrassed to drive in car. It won't feel so jolty like it did originally for me. So that's it, guys. That is the absolute best mod I've done yet to my car. Now I haven't done a whole lot of mods. I can say out of the first mods that I have done, some cosmetic, some kind of like the axle back just to hear the car more. So I guess you could call that kind of cosmetic in a way too. You know, out of all the mods, visual or whatever, this is my favorite by far. I couldn't recommend it more. You're gonna need it at some point, so why the hell not? So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, or like it if you enjoyed it. Comment if you have a question. You know, if you have a question about some of the mods I've done so far. I'll have more videos for there's only a couple more things I've done, but there's obviously I have plans in the future. So more things to come as per usual. I will catch you guys in the next one. Sorry, there's a crosswalk right here. So. Like, comment, subscribe. I will catch you guys in the next one.